Okay, look, I'm a stand-up comic from San Francisco. I'm not an animal expert. When Channel 4 called me and asked me to do a show about gay animals, I thought, okay, this is a joke. You've got to be kidding. Yeah, I'm gay, whatever. That doesn't mean I know about gay animals or that I even care. I never even thought about why would animals be gay, or if they were gay, or what difference that would make to anyone anyway. But even a comic needs to eat, and so I set out on the road to find the truth about gay animals, which I thought would be kind of a laugh. The truth was, it seemed like no one had considered that animals might be anything less than 100% hetero. I've watched enough wildlife programs to know that as far as television goes, gay creatures don't exist. And I soon found out that for mainstream scientists, the idea that animals might be homosexual is just plain stupid. But even if the experts had got it wrong, and gay animals do exist, how was I supposed to spot them? I can't talk to them. I can ask them what bars they go to, or where they get their hair done, or where they bought their shoes. So there's really only one way to find out, and that's by watching them have sex. I started off with one good lead. I'd heard about this species of chimpanzee that's infamous for its enthusiasm for same-sex sex. Bonobo apes can be relied on for gay behavior, especially females, and that I wanted to see. So yeah, I started at the zoo, which is run by Molly Badham and her partner Natalie.
Let's sit down and get stuck into a cup of tea.
All right. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Oh, good. What a lovely home.
No, I don't think there are truly gay animals. I think they can play with each other, but not in a sexual way.
I wouldn't say that there was any sexual relationship in it. They get this big swelling that wobbles on behind them and they rub each other against each other. I don't think that is sexual in the true way of what you would call necessarily gay sex. That'd be my feeling on it. It's one way of pacifying your partner, obviously.
It wasn't a great start. Hi. I'm looking for the bonobo monkeys. Am I pronouncing that right, bonobo? As far as management were concerned, the bonobos weren't gay. All right. I was wondering what they had to say on the shop floor. Oh. There's the bonobo. Hi, Marcus. Do you look after these monkeys? Chimps. I'm sorry.
Pygmy chimps.
Pygmy chimps.
Yeah.
Do you look after them?
After these, yeah. Other animals to look after as well, but I try and spend a lot of time with these.
Do you have any favorites among the group?
Yeah. The female deer too. I mean, she's my ultimate
Deer
favourite.
too?
Yeah, she's the oldest one. She's like the head of the group.
Does she have anyone she hangs around with, like a special?
Yeah, she has a special bond with Banya, and this is like the main female bonding. And when they get really excited, they copulate.
And so they have sex, actual sex.
Well, it's called GG rubbing, which is yeah, literally just the rubbing of the clitorises, because their clitoris and whatever is on the outside, so any movement stimulates it.
All right. I'm getting a little aroused here. I think it's the way you're saying it. So tell me, is gay sex between females more common than between
Very,
males?
very common. It's more towards that than it is for male-female.
Lesbian sex is more common than heterosexual sex.
Yeah.
Can we go see if we can find...
Deer too, yeah, she's probably inside. I mean, they'll all come in now once they see me walk through anyway.
Oh, great. Okay, good.
That's deer too.
Oh, the long-armed one. Now, which part of her organ that's hanging out there is her clitoris? Is that...
That's the clitoris and, like, the bits and...
That big thing?
Yeah. I mean, that's...
Enormous clitoris she has.
Yeah, I mean, it's right at the end. You can see the tip.
Oh, right. Lucky her. What's our potential of seeing them pleasuring one another?
Well, once I get the food, straight away.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why around the food time?
Because they get all excited. They get me even more so excited.
Mm. stood around waiting for sex to happen, which was kind of weird, and after an hour or so, I was losing hope.
Because there's a bit of tension in the groups. They're not as sort of like randy as they normally are.
I mean, at first I thought that they would just perform, because he talked about their sexual behavior like it was so prevalent. And then I thought, oh, well, we'll just get this. This will be easy.
I mean, the best time probably to catch them would be in the morning, because they've had a good night's sleep. They're ready for their morning feed, they're ready for their drinks. They've probably slept in different places, so they haven't seen each other for a bit. We shall see.
Next day, I was going to have to go back. I thought, how long before these goddamn chimps start performing? I guess this is what working with animals is like. We had to feed them and drink them because we were giving them Ribena. And the Ribena apparently with the chimps. Woo! Ribena and sex. I felt like a pornography filmmaker. Like, come on, do it. Give Daddy what he wants. Come on!
It's good. Good girl, Daisy. That's what we want. Good girl. That's what we've been waiting for, isn't it? Go. There you go.
Finally, I guess they bumped pictures, but I didn't see it because it was the 1 second I went outside to make a phone call to call my agent. I mean, the reason why I came here was to see the same-sex bonobos going at it.
Yeah.
I saw a little bit of it.
I mean, there's been a bit, but nowhere near as much as what they'd normally do.
It wasn't the cavalcade of sexual behavior that I'd been promised.
Well, they'd probably do a bit of genitalia rubbing, but that's as far as it would go.
Right.
I mean,
that's as far as it's going to go between you and I, too, Mike. I left Twycross. Oh, I was so relieved that we finally got it on camera. But I thought, I bet you the moment my back is turned, those chimps will be at it like rabbits. The bonobos clearly prefer gay sex. In my book, that made them gay. But maybe the bonobos were a one-off. I needed to talk to an expert.
Hi, I'd like to speak to David Attenborough, please.
Nearly everyone I tried
It's about gay animals?
said they were busy.
Oh. Okay.
No one seemed able to talk, but there was one guy, Tim Clutton-Brock. He's a Cambridge professor who spent his career observing wildlife, one of the world's most eminent animal behaviorists. He was prepared to face the camera. The thought of meeting him was terrifying.
hello,
Hi, I'm Scott.
I'm Tim.
Hi, Tim. Nice to meet you.
Come on in.
Oh, thank you.
Wow.
He's got that middle-class English accent that totally intimidates me. What a lovely house.
Yeah.
And then the whole Cambridge thing. I was totally intimidated, way out of my league. I walked in and his walls in his office were lined with books. Wow, what a nice old chair. It's all so old around here. Well, to me, you know, I'm American, so. And I thought, God, all of England is coming down on me right now.
So go ahead, you want to talk about the evolution of homosexuality in animals?
I do.
Go
Oh,
on.
you sound prepared. You said it better than I could. Yeah, well, you know, we've been traveling around talking to people
Yeah.
about gay animals, basically. What do you think about that?
I think you have to be very careful what you mean by gay in this sort of case. So, for example, you've got to know is it really the case that all the males have access to receptive
Well,
females?
if you're watching chimps around each other, different sexes, and the men are with the men, and the women are with the women, and they're having sex with same gender partners, that's gay behavior to me.
Well, it may be, but the other possibility is that males indulge in what I call as exuberant sexual behaviour with each other, but when a female...
Very Victorian definition, though, isn't
Well,
it?
it's the definition.
Don't
But
you think?
when a female
I mean,
comes
come on,
into...
they're grabbing each other. So I mean, if two boys grab at each other, parents freak out. They don't call it exuberance, they call it, oh my God, repairs to homosexuality is what they're thinking in their mind. So I think we're talking about animals.
The reason I use exuberant is I don't want to call it misdirected. Yeah.
He doesn't want to say misdirected, but as far as he's concerned, sex for animals is all about breeding, all about reproduction. So you're saying that if two male bonobos are going at it, it's just because they happen to be there at the moment and they can't access females?
It may be that they're... Well, bonobos I think are unusual. It's normally the case in animal societies where you see males mounting each other. It may be a dominance interaction. It may occasionally be circumstances where they're deprived of access to females, and it is very seldom associated with penetrative sex. In 30 years of watching animals, I don't think I've ever seen penetrative sex between two males. Clutton-Brock kept coming back to this issue of anal sex, like it's the litmus test for homosexuality. I mean, I don't think that homosexual sex can be defined by mere penetration. I mean, it's not in the human... I wasn't wanting to define it as mere penetration, but I was wanting to find something that one could actually well define as sexual behaviour, because there are all sorts of social behaviours that you could interpret in terms of sexual behaviour. There are many of them that have some sexual component. Well, I think two monkeys tugging at each other's female parts for pleasure is sexual behaviour. Yes, I'd agree that. I'd agree that. But it looks to me as if bonobos are actually really rather unusual. Now, bonobos are closely related to us. Maybe human sexual behaviour is just really rather unusual. Maybe homosexual behaviour in humans is something that really isn't found in many other social mammals. And that would fit with my experience. Maybe he was right. Maybe humans like me are freaks. And the rest of the animal kingdom's completely hetero. Because Clutton-Brock was adamant, just because an animal does it with the same sex, that doesn't make it homosexual. No, I needed more proof. I needed creatures who choose their own sex, even when the opposite sex is ready and willing. And then the acid test, the real clincher for people like Clutton-Brock, was males having full anal intercourse. I knew what I wanted, but not where to find it. Then I remembered a story from a couple of years ago. A pair of gay male swans. They'd built a nest in Dorset. I got there. This tiny village with nothing but swans, and no one remembered a thing.
Haven't heard anything about any gay swans in Abbotsbury, no.
I don't know anything about them. No, no. But not in Abbotsbury. No, 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 no.
I think it's a load of rubbish because I've never heard of it. Morning, you two. If you talk to me about gays, now I'm going to tell you straight, I think there's something wrong with them. Come on. Come on, my lovely. Come on, my handsome. Come on. Of course it's unnatural. What I mean to say is, you go back, why did Noah have two of every kind in the ark?
Excuse me. How you doing?
How you do?
Are you Dick Daly?
Yeah, that's me.
Right. I've been looking for you. Can you tell me about gay swans?
Well, we did have a pair here, a couple of male birds here, one season, a couple of seasons, who set up home together, built a nest, and, well, went through like a normal couple, but unfortunately they were both gay, and...
Now, what do you mean, unfortunately? You think that that's unfortunate that they were...
Well, I don't know, it's a job to say. I've never seen gay swans here before, you know, but they built this nest, they was quite happy. And
you saw them courting?
Well, they went through the motions. But whether they went any further than that, I don't know. I never ever saw that, but apparently it was seen.
It's great to hear that because I've been checking out the town here. It's full of locals that don't seem to know anything about this. What do you think about that?
Well, I never said a lot. Well, it's not the thing you like to broadcast, but it did bring quite a few interesting people, and especially old ladies. What they expected to see, I do not know.
And you had visitors come down, and gay people calling up and coming to visit the swans.
Well, they never said they were, but you could read between the lines.
You can't? What do you mean? How could you spot them? Did you know I was gay?
No.
Oh.
No. Well, I had no idea the way you was talking, but I would like to say.
Right. Was it the fashionable Armani that I'm wearing on top of each other? Armani. Did you notice that?
No.
I'm so relieved to meet you, Dick. I want to hug you for telling me the good news.
Well, if you go over there, they might be able to fill you in a little bit better because they have been tending to the swans' needs and helping them with their nesting when they were nesting there.
I guess hugging's out of the question then. Is that what you're saying? Chasing me away.
Yeah.
All right. I understand.
Okay.
I was hoping to have a bit more luck with Dick's younger colleague, Steve. Nice uniforms, by the way. I like the color usage.
Right.
I like the hat, too. Got to keep up with the kids with the fashion these days, don't you?
Get a lot of school groups around, so I've got to keep some street cred.
All right, street cred, Steve. Well, you're obviously not from around here, are you? Dick claims there's some gay swans wandering around here.
Well, we had a pair that were two males, definitely two males. They mated for 2 years running.
Wow.
But one of them died.
Oh.
But in the last...
One of them died?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
But in the last 2 years, we've had...
Was he beaten to death by angry straight herds?
No, just
Was
died.
it a homophobic act?
No, I don't think so. He just died of natural causes.
Oh, right.
But in the last 2 years, we've also had these 3 birds on nest, 2 males and 1 female.
Hot. Now you're talking, Steve. Now my loins are warming up a little bit. Is it down here?
Yeah, this is their usual territory.
Wow.
One of the males appears to be bi, if you like, and the other one appears to be gay.
This is where all the hot action happens, huh?
Well, not much action happens most of the time.
I hope something happens today, Steve. We didn't come all the way out to Dorset to watch a couple of goddamn swans float around. We want to see some hot bird-on-bird action.
Well, this is their territory, the corner of the pond here.
All right.
And
why have these 3 chosen each other, do you think?
well, from what I can understand, it appears that the surplus male, if you like, is actually mated to the male, but not the female.
All right.
And it does appear that female is heterosexual. The father of the cygnets is bi, if you like, and the other...
I do like.
The other swan appears, in human terms, to be gay.
Right. Now, you're a good naturalist. For you to say a gay swan, does that make you a bit nervous?
Well, it is. You just got to be careful how you interpret animals' behaviour. You know.
Do they mount each other?
I haven't seen that in these birds. No, I've seen it in 2 males we've had before.
Oh, you saw them
several
mount one
years
another?
back. Yeah.
Like getting on top of each other?
Yeah, and they couldn't quite work it out. They were always fighting to get on top of each other as well.
That happens in real life, let me tell you, Steve. Did you know I was gay?
I assume
Look at me.
so.
Make eye contact with me, Steve. There you go. It's not going to hurt. You won't turn into a pillar of salt if you find out I'm homosexual.
Oh, it's not that. I don't make eye contact with a lot of people. It's not...
It's very English, actually, is what it is. It's part of the British charm. So, do you think that maybe the boys are dry humping each other because there aren't enough females around?
I wouldn't have said so, because at any one time, and this year included, there are quite a few adult females out there that weren't paired.
So that wouldn't be an explanation.
Were available. I wouldn't have thought so, no.
So I'm seeing the only explanation is that the boys like boy butt.
Well,
that's another street cred term you might want to learn.
Well, I sort of...
The boys are after the boy butt. Well, so what's the likelihood of our seeing some swan action?
Well, this time of year, coming to the end of the nesting, it's not that likely.
So we might not see anything?
You may not. You may be lucky.
Lucky meaning we might see something, or I might pick somebody up here at the swanery.
No, more likely you are.
You are the flirtiest swanery person I've ever met in my whole life, Steve. I have to tell you. Here alone in the swamps with you, anything could happen. Hands off, Steve. That's all I gotta say. We've been sitting here for a while. I haven't seen any homosexual behavior at all. But I think that they're aware of being observed. The birds refused to perform, of course. I didn't care. At last I was getting somewhere. The truth was, they'd had gay male swans in the past, and they had one now. This wasn't exuberant sexual behavior caused by a shortage of females. These were same-sex birds who'd chosen each other as mates. But I couldn't prove that they'd had penetrative sex, so I wasn't sure that these swans would convince the diehards. But whatever the locals say, as far as I could see, they've got homosexual animals in their backyard. Being here in Abbotsbury is just like a place you come when you're being punished. I feel like that. I feel like I want to go. And I was in luck. My next stop was home, America. God bless her. If I'd known what lay in wait, I'd have stayed put. Queer, but all I'd found in Britain was one measly gay swan. And it was hard to get any further in a place where no one wanted to discuss it. So I came back home, where I knew they'd be more upfront. But this wasn't really home. It was Florida. I was on my way to a one-horse town where a man was so convinced his pet dog was queer, he killed it.
Good morning and welcome to AM Ocala Live. I'm Chip Morris. It's 75 degrees out there, but don't worry, it'll get much, much hotter as the day goes on.
It's hot and sweaty and humid, and I'm getting stared at because I can tell I'm not from around here because I'm wearing 3/4 length trousers and Ray-Ban sunglasses. I think this is where they string faggots up over an open flame, watch the skin melt off their bodies. Usually, this is where we are.
It was about a year ago that a gentleman here in Ocala was arrested on animal cruelty charges. He beat his dog to the point where it had to be euthanized.
The dog was a male called General Lee, killed with a hose from a vacuum cleaner.
When asked why he did it, he said he believed that General Lee was gay.
Hi.
Hi.
I wish you could help me. I'm in town trying to find out about the murder of this gay dog that happened about 1.5 years ago. Do you know anything about that?
We read something about it in the paper, but it wasn't about a gay dog. It was a guy that was mad because his dog was messing with another dog of the same gender.
So you don't think that the dog was gay?
No.
No, there's no such thing.
No, that's all natural.
There's no such thing as homosexuality in the animal world.
Well, apparently the two male dogs repeatedly engaged in sexual behavior.
I don't believe that for a second. There is no proof ever that they actually accepted anal intercourse unless they've been trained to do that by some sick pervert.
The ex-wife of the dog killer agreed to meet me. Sybil Finley divorced her husband after the murder. So I wanted to know, did she think her dog was gay?
Hi.
Hi.
Sybil.
How are you?
I'm Scott. How are you?
I'm Sybil.
Nice to meet you.
Like to come in?
Oh, I'd love to. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, Fluffy.
Hi. Happy.
Hi, Happy.
You mama good girl. That's right over here, mama good girl. General Lee was a Yorkie poo. My kids got him as Mother's Day gift for me. And my ex-husband killed him because he said the dog was homosexual.
Your husband said your dog was homosexual.
Mm-hmm.
What activity was going on out there with the dogs?
General Lee was humping Bandit, the Jack Russell, all the time. He would put his penis in Bandit's mouth, and Bandit, he didn't seem to mind at all. And then he'd also get on the other end and do the same.
You think maybe that General Lee was gay?
It was just a dog thing. I would just tell him to stop it. That's what the vet told me to do. Just tell him to quit. Can dogs actually be queer? Do you know?
I was totally confused. Sybil had given this completely vivid description of full gay dog sex, but that wasn't enough to convince her. I thought, how far does an animal have to go before people around here believe it's queer?
Good morning and welcome back to AM Ocala Live. 8:36 here in the AM. And I do, in fact, have sitting in the studio with me Scott Capurro. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. The topic today is whether or not animals exhibit homosexual behavior. And I've got a caller on the line. WOCA, you're on the air.
Yes, I called in about my pit bull. He's walking around on his tippy toes and singing all of me.
Why not take all of me? I appreciate the call.
I'm in town and I'm trying to find out about this this gay dog murder that happened about a year and a half ago.
A what?
A man murdered his dog because he thought the dog was gay.
I am not a homophobe. I do not fear homosexuals, but I do oppose the idea. As a Christian, I'm taught to love the sinner and to hate the sin, and there's a big move to try to sanctify the sin.
This guy killed his dog because he claimed the dog was gay.
Oh my God, let's see, what's this world coming to?
He doesn't want to answer the question because I think it's very critical that they do.
Okay, well let me ask.
Do you mean gay people? That we tell you why we're gay? I don't know why we have to justify it to you. I don't even know you.
You're on television defending your lifestyle.
I'm not defending any lifestyle. Do you think his sentence? What do you think his sentence should be for something like that?
For a queer dog? Oh, I think maybe he should have gotten a medal.
I see this gentleman is not interested in talking seriously, and so I don't think that you ought to mess with him anymore. Just pack him out and send him home.
Well, I think he was very serious about it.
I don't feel safe here. I mean, I made the mistake of saying I was gay on the air. That was stupid. I mean, I asked the production manager to maintain our anonymity, because I don't think it's that odd for me to think that people could be calling around hotels looking for us right now and showing up in a lobby with a gun. I just don't want to have a bullet between my eyes because I was making a program about gay animals. But I had to stick around. I had a paid job to do. I had to find George Finley, the killer. Hi, is this George Finley? Hi, George. I thought, at least this guy believes the dog is gay. Well, this would be a great chance, I think, for you to express your side of the story. You don't want to get on camera? Let a sleeping dog lie, you say? George, let me ask you something. Did you think the dog was gay? Right. The wife started that stuff because Sybil's a leslie, you say? So you think Sybil started the rumor that the dog was gay because she's a lesbian? Sybil is gay, that's the whole thing, you think? That's what it's all about. He didn't think the dog was queer, he just thought it was animal behavior, that dogs just do that, they just hump each other. He'd seen the dog doing it a lot before, and he wanted it to stop. But he never said the dog was queer, he said. He said the police interpreted what he said that way. I was pissed off. Even the gay dog killer was in denial. This was mission impossible. No one in this redneck hellhole was going to admit animals were queer, whatever the evidence. They saw what their small minds wanted to see. I don't know, I'm a faggot. Maybe I was seeing what I wanted to see. Two weeks on the road. And I was nowhere near the truth about gay animals.
Get 100, quarter, 150, 175.
But I was about to meet a scientist who would show me all the proof I could ask for. A college professor who got money from the U.S. government to research the sex lives of sheep.
This is a homosexual ram mounting another ram. He chooses who he wants to mount. And in this case, he's mounting a male. Now, it's more difficult for a ram to insert his penis into the rectum of the bottom animal.
Ann Perkins didn't set out looking for homosexuality. Hi, I'm Scott Capurro.
Scott, Ann Perkins.
She just wanted to find out why some male sheep refuse to breed.
Yeah, I've been watching sheep have sex for 14 years. One of the reasons it's good to do research with sheep is because we can do things to them and with them and watch them in ways that you can't watch humans have sex. So sex research with people is very limited.
Oh, right.
But after we've identified these animals, we euthanize them.
So yeah, you can't use humans because they're not as easy to chop up.
Well,
She was so blasé about it.
can't do this kind of research on humans.
It kind of felt surreal.
Incredibly
First, no one would admit to the possibility that animals might be gay.
Now this is a brain that came out of a gay sheep or a homosexual sheep, so it's kind of really
And here she was, handing me gay sheep brains.
I've kept it for years and it's preserved.
How did you find a homosexual sheep?
We developed a protocol that involved 2 males and 2 females in heat. And we put them in a stanchion very similar to when you milk a cow. So they're eating and their rear ends are exposed. And then we turn in the test animal, the ram, and he can go around and smell all of them.
Take anyone he wants.
Take anyone he wants, males and females. Right.
Yeah.
And we'd see if they would choose to mount a male in the presence of females, then that's our definition of homosexual.
Right.
We kept all those animals. We keep them in a group, and we did a lot of different research projects with them.
Is that where this little guy came from?
And that's where that guy came from.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So, okay, this hasn't been researched before. Like, all these scientists around, why aren't they seeing it?
Well, scientists are not immune from bias. And so if you've grown up in a culture that says, you know, what exists is heterosexual sex and the purpose of all sex is to breed and make babies, that's what you're going to see. And so you have to get outside that box to see something different.
Can we touch the brains?
Sure,
we
you can
pull 'em out and
take,
look
yeah,
at 'em?
I can show you in the area that we've discovered is probably responsible for its gayness.
Really? We can play with it and touch the gayness?
You can look at what we discovered, but you won't see anything different. So you go ahead and take that up.
I could remove the gay brain? Come here, little gay brain. Come on out. Oh, oh. I'm not handling it gingerly because I don't want to damage any. Oh, God.
Yeah, there you go. All right, there's a sheep brain.
Yeah.
Get a perspective of what it's like.
Right.
If you turn your sheep brain over, you'll see a section right here, and that's called the amygdala.
Right.
The amygdala is an area that in many animals is responsible for sexual arousal, plays a role in sex. But in the homosexual sheep, the amygdala is just like a female's. And this part of the brain does not recognize testosterone. Whereas in this one, when testosterone is circulating, it responds. This would go, okay, wow, there's a female, she's in estrus, I'm excited, my body wants to copulate. This would go, there's a female, she's in estrus, that's meaningless to me. However, this part of the brain would say, oh, there's a male.
Right.
Males are exciting to me, and since I'm a male, I'm going to copulate. Now, the fact that it can't perceive testosterone means that something went on developmentally, that this part of the brain didn't become male. It was not masculinized during some early stage of development.
Wow. Does that mean that the brain is underdeveloped?
It
or
means
just
that
developed differently?
It developed differently.
Oh.
Because it's a completely mature brain.
Right. So this sheep wouldn't be considered, like by human terms, retarded or anything like that?
No. No, in fact, it's a completely mature brain, but it's going to respond to circulating hormones differently than this brain.
So is this nature or nurture that this is a gay brain? What do you
Okay, well, when you say nature or nurture, you're asking, was it genetics that caused this, then it was nothing to do with the environment, or did the environment mold this brain? And we're not clear on that yet. What it does mean is that as an adult, this brain is fixed in this pattern, and it's so far, our research would say it can't change. This is a female-like amygdala, and we can't make it male-like with testosterone or hormones.
So this brain doesn't have a choice. It can't choose its behavior. It just is
Well,
a gay
this-
sheep, and that's
this-
the way it is.
I think that's a fair statement.
Can we apply this research to human beings, do you think?
You know, it'd be irresponsible for me as a scientist to say, this is true in sheep, so it is true in humans. That's not what I've proven or demonstrated at all. I have demonstrated that this is a mechanism that's working in a fairly large mammal. And so it's certainly an appropriate question. Does this apply in humans? It's entirely possible that something like this is going on in humans.
Right.
But this is not proof that it does.
You're about to ask me to masturbate into a cup right now, aren't you? No. You are. That's why I'm here. That's why we've met.
Seeing the brains, that was amazing. Anne hadn't just proved the sheep indulged in gay behavior, she'd shown their biological makeup is different. Now I was ready to meet gay sheep in the flesh. But the U.S. government flatly refused our request to visit the sheep station where the research was still going on.
We're going to watch the videos up here, so come on in, welcome.
Oh, thanks.
We need to see this on video because, you know, I don't have these animals here at my house. These
All
are
right.
all These are all at the sheep station, but this is what we did. When we filmed this, this was one of the original films when we first started doing this. Now this is a homosexual ram. He goes right to the penis. Right to the penis area. Okay?
Sniffs around.
Yeah, in front of him or facing us is a female, but he's not interested in the females. And I wanted to see it even in the presence of females, would he still? So that's, now the penis is inserting right there.
Oh God.
And he's going to ejaculate.
Oh God.
That's a rectal intermission there. Meaning that his penis is going into that other ram.
He just poked the ram.
This is tape of what you would call homosexual behavior in the animal kingdom.
Right.
And you can't deny that it exists.
And they're just sitting there.
And I've watched this ram for hours and hours. He never ever would service females. And then he can choose male or female. And if he only chooses this male, then we say, okay, that's a homosexual animal. That's a natural occurring homosexual.
And he chooses that male every time you put him in
He
the
chooses
test.
that male. He's chosen other males as well.
Men are pigs, aren't they?
I don't know about fidelity in sheep. I wouldn't count on it.
Right. How often does this male and male mounting happen?
Well, male-male mounting happens very commonly. It's
All right.
extremely common. Ranchers would see males mounting all the time. What's unusual is that he's having sex when he could have had sex with a female.
How often does that happen?
That happens about between 6 and 10% of the population.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
6 and 10%. So it's pretty common.
Yeah. But now that's a rear mount, and his penis is inserting into the rectum of that ram, and he'll ejaculate.
All right. Now, is that legal in the state of Montana? Are anal intercourse
For
legal
sheep,
here?
but not for people.
Not for people? Really?
I think so.
Real?
Yeah, those laws are on the books in Montana.
The sheep are clearly ignoring those laws.
This
though.
is true.
They need to be slapped on the hoof.
I don't know. Sheep are doing sheep things.
Yeah, I'll say. Hey, sheepies. Now you've separated the sheepies?
Well, I've put the male separate.
I'd finally found what I was looking for and had proved gay animals can and do exist. The sheep were making a choice.
What am I walking in right now? Oh my God, oh my God. Is that manure? Can you just walk me through manure?
They were rejecting the females for one simple reason. They're queer, and they have full anal intercourse. The proof of the pudding, if you like.
Does that mean anything?
No, he was whipping flies.
I barely know you.
Joseph!
Now I wanted to know what made them that way.
Hey. We're doing a genetic study to try to find out if it's passed on. We've collected semen from homosexual rams, and we've artificially inseminated females, and then we're going to look at those sons.
So has a mature one shown any interest in the females yet?
Well, he's been with the females a lot now. I've separated him off, and we're about to see whether or not...
Has he mounted the females at all?
Haven't seen that. Do you want to see what he might do?
And that's the mature one right there?
I think that's him right there.
All right. He's looking for it.
Right.
He's really sniffing, though,
He's sniffing her. So this behavior alone is enough to categorize him as not a homosexual.
So even though he's got a gay dad,
right,
he's still a stud.
Yeah.
So, Anne, is homosexuality genetic in these animals?
Well, I haven't been able to demonstrate it on a very small scale here at my home. I have not been able to breed for it. And so far, the sons that I've reared here from these moms that could be gene carriers have not been homosexual.
So are you saying then that the brains that we looked at just happened?
We don't know. That's a good question, Scott. We don't know. It looks like it's not following this kind of maternal line. At least that's what I'm finding with my very small scale project.
So more tests are necessary?
Yeah, a lot more research.
Whatever made sheep into homosexuals, I was just glad here was a scientist willing to put those two words together, gay and animal. Anne's one of the few who worked on this. It did leave me wondering if I had a girly, feminine type brain, though. Anne said homosexuality could be observed in many, many species, and she gave me some leads. I was going to be shocked by just how widespread it was. When I got back to Britain, there wasn't much time left. Anne had told me that homosexual behavior has been observed in many different species. I wanted to see the proof, to find out just how widespread it is. I started sending out emails,
We put out the word to scientists and naturalists from the US, Australia, Germany, Israel, all over. The stuff we got back was random but amazing. First, a naturalist from New Zealand sent me a film of seagulls. It didn't look like much until he told me these were two females mating. Most pairs in this colony are made up of females, and the males are just used as sperm donors. A lesbian commune, basically. A German cameraman gave us footage of male African buffalo shot for a wildlife film. The producers left the gay sex out of the final thing. I found out it was normal for natural history programs to censor homosexual activity. Or if it is shown, it's often interpreted as anything but.
Here, one juvenile female buzzes another's genital area, perhaps to gain information about her sexual state and health.
Or maybe this is just lesbian sex. The amateur naturalists were more upfront. They didn't try to explain away the homosexual activity. A guy in Colorado sent me graphic footage of bighorn sheep. Ooh, there they are, doing the nasty. The more I saw, the madder I got. All of this has been ignored. It turns out homosexual behavior has been documented in over 400 species. Mammals, reptiles, birds, and insects. It all left me feeling cheated. Not by scientists. My beef isn't with them, but by all those homophobes who've been claiming since the beginning of time, or the beginning of Christian time, that being a faggot's unnatural, that being gay is against nature. Baroness Young, a former Tory minister who still commands huge public support. She was against lowering the age of consent for gay men and headed the campaign to keep homosexuality out of schools in Section 28 on the books. And then I want her to grovel before me and apologize for her negative, horrifying behavior. Lady Young, a pleasure to meet you.
And you do.
Thank you for having me in today.
Not at all.
Can
Do sit down.
Well, thank you. We have nothing like this back home. I'm American. It's nice to be here, but I'd like to talk to you about a few things that we've been researching on this show. I want to prove to her that because this experience is natural among animals, that it's natural among human beings, and I want to see what she has to say about that.
Well, I'm afraid I don't know anything about the research that you're referring to, so I really can't comment on something about which I know nothing. My own view about homosexuality I've made clear on very many occasions. I mean, what consenting adults do in private is a matter for them.
She'll know I'm queer. She can spot, apparently she can spot butt fuckers from a mile away. That's her job.
I've been very concerned about presenting to children in school the idea that homosexuality is morally equivalent to heterosexuality, which I don't think it is.
So do you believe that, would you agree that because homosexual behavior occurs among animals, just as a person, not as a professional, just your response as a human being, that would make it natural behavior among human beings as well?
I really think that's not a question I want to answer. I have never in my life seen anything remotely like that. I find it extremely difficult to believe that it exists at all, and I really don't wish to pursue it. I mean, I'd like to see, I haven't seen the evidence on which this kind of thing is based.
There's a video I have of the type of behavior that we've been talking about. I'd like to have you witness if you don't mind. It's self-explanatory, I think. Those are male buffaloes. Those are two female chimps.
If I may say so, I don't quite see what the object of all this is. I don't particularly like looking at this. And I have no... Yeah, it is. I mean, I think, you know, I don't know who's taken these photographs. It seems to be absolutely extraordinary. Some should go around taking photographs like this at all.
Well, it's as scientific animal behavior as any other animal behavior, I think. You know, these are animals in the wild that are responding to one another naturally. It makes sexuality seem as though it's anything else a part of them that's natural, like their hair and eye color, or anything else.
Well, I'm not really very good on the, you know, the detailed photographs of sexual behavior of animals, and I don't think I particularly want to look at it.
Would you be opposed to that tape being shown in schools?
I certainly would. I think it would be
so,
quite wrong.
Why would that be?
Because I think the one is putting in front of children something which is undesirable for them to see. I think a lot of things that children see nowadays are undesirable, and I would certainly include that in it.
So the behavior amongst animals, as natural as it is, and really as common as it is also bad for them to see, you think?
I think if it was bad behavior between human beings, I think that would be wrong to put in front of children. The fact that it's with animals, I think it would be quite unsuitable. I don't really want, I mean, I am simply revolted by this whole idea of animals and all of this. I mean, you know, the dogs and things. I mean, lots of children have pets, and the idea that they're all involved in this, I mean, I'm sorry, I really think, I think this is not for me.
I buy that.
Well,
Oh, she made me sweat. I mean, everything is meant to intimidate. The architecture, you know, the lords' names and all the titles and all the carpeting and the drapes and the portraits. No wonder you guys are all so subjected. I totally get it.
I've come to the end of this journey knowing that gay animals are not a joke. I know it's naive to think that proving that gay animals exist is going to make the world a better place. I mean, I know it's going to take a lot more than film footage of same-sex animals going at it to convince Baroness Young that queers are okay. But at least after this, people can never say again that same-sex behavior among animals doesn't happen, because it does. Now I know. The truth about animals is, even if they came in 2 by 2, some of them must have been faggots.
Is your pet playing it straight or playing the field? Take the petometer test and find out just how alternative it is at channel4.com/petometer. Next Monday at 10:35, the truth about gay sex, the last in the series. Next tonight, James Spader and Holly Hunter get their orgasmic chills from the depths of depravity. Definitely an unhealthy obsession with car smashes in tonight's extreme cinema on 4, Crash.